All right, Coach, that was a great win the other night in Tempe, Arizona against Arizona State. Keyshawn Hall obviously going off for 40 points. Just kind of reflect on that game and what you liked about your team.
Well, I thought it was a great game, a great environment. I thought our guys came prepared. And, what was impressive about Keyshawn was how he let the game come to him, and he was able to accomplish that. I mean, he's, like I said, a three-level scorer. I think you saw his full arsenal of the things he's capable of doing. And not only did he do that, but he was making his teammates better with the way he played on both sides of the basketball. So she's really proud of him and all of our guys. I thought it was a great team win. I thought Keyshawn, led the charge by setting the tone early.
Coach, to elaborate more on Keyshawn Hall, this isn't the first time we've seen this performance, but in this extent, yes. In the first half, a few weeks ago, we saw him have a perfect shooting half, and then prior, he's been the leading scorer for the Knights this season. So what have you seen out of him? Did you see this when recruiting him?
We were hopeful that he would provide this type of, play for us because we were looking for someone to help us score the basketball, and he's done that. He's come in, he's been willing to listen and learn exactly what we want. So he's coachable, and by doing so, I think he's been terrific for us. And his best basketball, I think, is still ahead of him. As he's continued to learn our system and learn me as his coach, I think he's only continued to improve. But he's been really good for us. Our guys have been able to play off of him because of his ability to score the basketball. I think he's made guys around him better.
Coach, obviously Keyshawn was the catalyst for your offense the other night, but you got big performances from JJ and Darius as well. How important was their court presence when Keyshawn was out with the foul trouble?
Well, let me just state right here. I mean, Darius Johnson has been amazing for us all year long. His presence on the court, his floor leadership as a senior point guard, has really helped us in a number of ways. His leadership with his own players, his poise and his composure, man, down the stretch of basketball games is something that I think I can't overstate. I mean, he's been very, very good for us in that area. And of course, having a guy like JJ who really responded, really stepped up on the road for us, and we needed that. We needed someone to give us a spark coming in the game, and he was that guy. He came in, he gave us great energy defensively, and he made some really good plays for us offensively as well. So I'm super excited about his overall upside. I always have been. I think his best basketball is in front of him, but you can see the potential. Some nights when he gets on the floor, he's just different with his length, his mobility, his skill set, and so I'm excited to see how he continues to grow and develop as the season progresses as well.
Johnny, you were without Mustafa. What's his status, I guess, going into Saturday's game? You were without Jalen as well. What's his status? And then overall health, I know there's been a flu bug going around for a lot of different areas. Are you guys healthy going into Saturday's game?
Yeah, I think everyone's battling something. It's a great question. Everyone's battling. With Mustafa, he's still day-to-day. Hopefully, he's recovering and he'll be able to help us. But that's part of it, as you know. And with the team, the same thing. You got guys, you're changing time zones, you're changing different atmospheres, different environments. And so those things are going to happen. We have to just do our best to, make sure we're drinking as much fluids as possible and we're eating properly and we're dressing warmly because you're changing, these climates so much. So something we have to make sure we're aware of. But ultimately, it's about us just staying focused on what we have to do to be successful, and that's taking care of our bodies, getting our rest, and being ready to compete.
Jalen?
And Jalen, I'm sorry. And Jalen's still day-to-day also, still day-to-day. Not sure of his overall status. We'll just have to wait and see. But, of course, as I said before, he wants to be out there. It's one of those things that's just lingered, and it's made it very difficult.
Defensively, you guys are at the bottom of the league in terms of points per game allowed, and teams are shooting about 49% since the start of conference play. So looking back at the last 5 games or so, what sort of tendencies are you trying to get the group to focus on the other end of the floor, and especially against a team like Houston where the points are going to be at a premium?
Well, we have to understand the importance of how we have to guard. I mean, this is the first team I think I've had during this time of the year where we're at the bottom defensively. I've never been near there, defensively. And so we have to continue to get better. Now, to their credit, we've still found ways to be competitive, still found ways to win. What we have to do is we have to shore up our defense, make it a little tighter at what we do, and execute it better. And that's what we're going to work on. So it's our job to make sure we're working on things to help us execute our defense better, to make sure that we are focused on the things that we have to be focused on to slow teams down. But again, this league is full of terrific players and great coaches, and so it's always going to be a challenge. But we have got to meet that challenge and become better at, the areas that we know we can improve on defensively.
Coach, looking ahead to Saturday, have you been able to take a look at Houston at all, and what have you seen from them if you have?
I haven't had a chance to really study Houston too much, because we've just getting back. But the thing that we have to do is we have to make sure that we come with the right mindset, to compete. They're a great program. Historically, they've been a top 15, top 20 program in recent history under Coach Sampson. They've done an amazing job. So we know the type of challenges that they pose, and we have to come out with the mindset that we have to be competitive for 40 minutes. They're not a team that's ever going to beat themselves. You're going to have to, you're going to have to win the game by just playing really good basketball for 40 minutes and being strong with the basketball.
Coming off a big road win that you guys just had, how can you use that momentum against a top 10 team coming into Edition Financial?
Well, the thing we have to have in addition financial, we have to have what we've had all season long, and that's our fans, our crowd. I mean, going out on the road and being in some of these hostile environments, the thing I've noticed is our environment is as good as anybody's environment. We got a great atmosphere here. Our student section has been amazing for years now, and our fans and our supporters are coming in now as well. And so that makes our environment, just so we know, here in Orlando, one of the best basketball environments in the country, in our conference. And that's what I've seen so far being out on the road. So it starts there, and then for us, when we get out there on the floor, we need to make sure we execute the game plan. We need to make sure that, we stay locked in and focused on the things that we have to do to be successful. Because a team like Houston, that comes in and they've been very successful, they make you pay for any of your mistakes. So you have to be a team that minimizes your mistakes to be successful.
You talked about Mustafa being day-to-day still. Obviously, Rokas and Benny came in, gave you some good offense against Arizona State. How do you elevate their game maybe defensively? Obviously, they did struggle a little bit in the post.
Well, we need to make sure we continue to be active defensively. We need to understand the game plan, and we need to execute. And then part of it is when you have that many new guys and some very young guys, as far as young, either like Mustafa age-wise, and then young like Benny as far as experience and actually playing, minutes in college. Those guys are learning as they go. So it's a process. They've played, 14 to 15 games, I think, thus far, maybe 16 games. And they're learning. I think they're going to continue to get better. But each time they face an opponent, there's always a different challenge that you kind of grow through. And eventually, all those challenges would be seen, and then the experience kick in, and they know exactly what to expect. So I think as we're playing and competing against the caliber teams we're competing, they're going to continue to get better in those situations, and that's going to make us a better team.
I know it's ancient history at this point, but the home loss to Kansas obviously was a huge opportunity for you guys on your home floor. How hungry is this team to get another signature home victory, and you got a great opportunity against Houston?
No, absolutely. We're always looking at trying to just go 1-0, against all of our opponents in this league. We're trying to find ways to win. And so for us, that's what we're focused on. We have opportunities, like an opportunity with a really good Houston team coming in, and we have to prepare for it like that. And our guys understand that, and we have to protect our home court. The bottom line, and teams in this conference that are going to be the most successful are going to protect their home court, and we have to understand the importance of protecting ours. And so that's something that we talk about as a team, we talk about as a staff, is the ability to have our crowd, our support, everyone around us understand, hey, we need to make sure when teams come in here that we put a good performance together.
Coach, I want to talk about the team's mindset during crunch time. We've seen a couple of times during the season when it comes late into the game, there's some high IQ plays being made, whether it's by Darius Johnson getting into the paint, creating contact, or even J.J. Taylor getting a late block last night. What have you seen from this team during this late game situations?
Like I said, they're composed. And I mean, a lot of times you're in late game situations, guys can get a little frenetic, they can get sped up, and then they don't really read the plays as well as they need to. This team, I think Darius has done a great job. I think his being steady on the floor and giving that kind of leadership. I think Keyshawn has done the same thing. It kind of anchors our guys, and therefore, they can play with more composure down the stretch of games and make the plays that are right in front of them. And that's what I've seen from this group. So the experience of like our backcourt, the experience of like a Keyshawn, I think in addition has made it where we can, play off those guys and kind of know what we want. They know what I want and executing it well.
Mikey Williams obviously missed the non-conference, the important kind of acclimation period that he would have had, not playing for the last 2 years. It was kind of trial by fire in these conference games, but he's playing more and more. He was able to get to the line. I know he was even hearing it from the opposing fans, too, the other night. How have you seen him starting to improve now that he's getting more comfortable out there?
Well, he's a young man that plays with a lot of poise. I mean, he has a lot of talent. Like I said earlier, he is just running his own race to be as successful as he can become. And the sky's the limit for him with that. And then it's a matter of understanding and learning our system because he's been out so long, in and out of our system, that picking up some of the things that you normally would have picked up with the habits that you've done from the summer and the fall, he didn't get a lot of that. So he's learning on the go. And so his learning curve has really been sped up. But to his credit, he wants to do it. He's working very hard, and he's been contributing. And the more he contributes, I think the better we become because he's a guy that can really help us as he continues to progress.
Johnny, Benny was pretty physical in the Arizona State game. Physicality down low for you guys in place of Mustafa. How do you get guys to balance that physicality, being physical, and also trying to avoid getting into foul trouble, trying to avoid having to find yourselves on the bench when you try to be physical down low in the post?
Well, very, very challenging for young guys who are defending in the post. He's never had to do that as much at Syracuse. They played all zone. Yeah. And then he's mostly played, the four-man position, so he didn't deal with a lot of post players. So he is really learning on the job right now. And to his credit, he's getting better at it. What he needs to understand is discipline. The way you stay out of foul trouble is you have to be disciplined. You have to follow the game plan. You have to be where you're supposed to be position-wise on the court. And when he picks up fouls sometime, it's because typically he's not in the proper position. And that's where we're teaching, we're showing on tape, we're working on in our practices. And as he continues to pick that up, that'll become a better habit. That's why I say I'm excited about the overall potential of our improvement because he's going to pick those things up. It's just he's having to do it for the first time. But like any young player, freshman, even though he's not young, the experience that he's gaining in practice every day in the games, it's going to pay off for us because he's going to get better at it, and we're going to be better defensively, in those areas.
Kind of to piggyback off of Andrew's question about the team's performance in crunch time. Obviously, you guys came off a loss to Arizona. You were dealing with a ruckus crowd in Arizona State and a two-way threat in Jaden Quaintance, who was registering career numbers. How does it speak to the elevation of the team's poise and their growth to just continue to trade blows and continue to perform when it mattered most?
Well, it says a lot about the players. I mean, I give them all the credit, like I said, with their composure, their concentration during those moments, because you can imagine in those type of environments, the crowd is going, and you have to be able to really concentrate. And those guys are concentrating and playing with poise, and they're confident in who they are. Those 3 C's, they're confident in who they are, on the court. And I think it shows up in those moments. So we have to continue to build off of all those things. We can't take it for granted, and we have to continue to look, like I said, to try to improve. But I like our guys in those situations because they've shown that those moments haven't been too big for them.
This team's kind of taken a lot of lumps from like national media sources, kind of listing you guys at the bottom of the Big 12, saying why are they in the Big 12? They're not a basketball school. What do you say about the last year's performance and then this year starting 500 in Big 12 play?
Well, first of all, I don't pay attention to any of those things. As a competitor, all I pay attention to is the team that we're going to face. I don't really follow any of that. So until you tell me stuff like that, I would never know. That's how oblivious I am to those things because all I'm trying to do is coach our team, trying to help them be the best they can be, and trying to represent our university and our community here in Orlando. We want to put our best foot forward, like all of our programs. We want to do something special. All of our programs does. We do as well. And that's all I concentrate on is making everyone here in Orlando and at UCF proud of our effort and how we compete every single night.
Having gone head-to-head with him a number of times now, what makes Kelvin Sampson's team so difficult consistently to score against?
Well, first, he's a great coach. And second, they have a great culture. I mean, you look at their culture, and it starts defensively for them. They do a great job defensively. These guys play really hard for one another. These are things I see all the time. And with regards to them playing hard, you can tell when they're out there, they're very, very connected. They're very connected at what they do. So these are some of the things that I see. And the only way you can stay as connected as they do is because you have continuity. You have consistency of guys being in your program. So he's been able to always keep some real good culture keepers, meaning some of his best players have always been there year after year. Now it's Roberts. Now it's Sharp. These are the juniors and seniors. He's been in this program the whole time. It's just no different than with me with Darius Johnson, who we spoke about earlier. You have those pieces that are your culture keepers that are back, and they have multiple guys like that. Right now, we really only have DJ because Jalen hadn't been able to play. They have multiple guys returning. So with that, those guys know the culture. They protect, they defend that culture, and that's why they're able to can still stay consistently, relevant, consistently stay in the top 10 as a program.
Coach, you guys went 1-1 on this road trip. You battled against Arizona, and you beat Arizona State. What did you like out of this? What did you see out of this team during this road trip?
Well, I thought we were very competitive. You know, we came with, I think, a very good mindset. We knew it was going to be a challenging road trip, like they all are in the Big 12. Every single road game is incredible, and so we knew we had to come out with a real focus. And I thought our guys did. They came out with a focus. I thought they followed the game plan very well, and they gave us opportunities to win. And that's what you want to see. You want to see opportunities. I thought in both games, you know, we had opportunities against two really good basketball teams. You know, we came up short in one game. Arizona, a very, very good team, and then, of course, I thought we beat a very good basketball team in Arizona State, who has a lot of talent as well. So it's a function of just our guys being prepared, going out there and executing and playing hard.
And overall, you guys are 3-2 in conference play. What's the mindset of the team right now?
The mindset is we're looking to, you know, take it one game at a time. That's our mindset. One game at a time. Who's the next game in front of us? And we're going to prepare diligently to be very competitive against that opponent. And so that happens to be Houston. So we want to make sure that we're geared up for them, and that's what we want to do.
All set? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys. Y'all take care.
Darius, just kind of, first of all, just kind of reflect on the other night in Tempe, Arizona. You know, you guys had a lead. Arizona State claws back, and you know you got to pull that. You know you got to get a split on the road. So you kind of put the team on your back. You know, you're going to the basket. You're getting fouled. You're driving to the hole. So what's kind of, as a senior leader point guard, when you know you got to step up at the end of the game, what's going through your mind?
Honestly, you know, like you said, when I'm a senior leader, I trust all the work that I've put in. My teammates believe in me, and the coaching staff believes in me. You know, they drew up plays for me to go out and execute, and that's what I did.
What did you guys like out of this road trip? You guys went 1-1. You battled against Arizona. Then you came back and won Arizona State. You didn't fold on the second part of it. What did you guys like?
I think we showed our relentlessness. You know, when we played Arizona the first night, you know, we got down by 16, but, you know, we were able to walk them down, and we ended up tying the game. Eventually, we never able to take the lead, but, you know, we did a good job of, you know, fighting back on the road in a great environment like that. So it shows that we can compete at any level, especially on the road or at home. You know, we had to bounce back and regrouped, and, you know, we got the win at Arizona State.
Darius, obviously, Keyshawn scored 29 of your guys' 49 first half points, but then he goes out in the second half for about 8 minutes of game time in foul trouble. What was your mindset and also your communication with JJ as you guys kind of took the scoring and, like, you know, really just worked towards putting the team on your back and making things happen on the offensive end?
Honestly, I've been telling JJ, you know, since the summer, and since his first game with us at Texas A&M, you know, he's definitely been a spark off the bench this year for us, kind of like our X factor a little bit, coming and just making plays right away. With him, it doesn't even have to be with scoring. He's just a lot of energy plays, you know, with defensive rebounds, offensive rebounds, you know, getting deflections on basketballs, and, you know, the scoring eventually found him. He had 2 open threes, and he capitalized on them.
Darius, when a guy like Keyshawn gets hot, and you get a player or teammate that gets hot like that, what's that like for you as the, you know, the guard out there trying to make sure? Do you try to make sure he gets the ball every time because you know he's got the hot hand, or do you just want the offense to kind of flow organically as you guys are going through it?
Honestly, you know, he's one of our better scorers on the team, and he had a hot hand, so, you know, we want to keep trying to feed him until that hand wears off. But, you know, if I get an open look, or, you know, someone else gets an open look, you know, take it, you know, give him a little bit of relief, you know, try to take the defense focus off him a little bit.
Looking ahead to Saturday, you faced Houston a number of times in your college career. What makes this team so consistently difficult to score against?
Honestly, just their defense. You know, everyone on their team, they buy into their role, making sure they try to lock down to whoever they're guarding at the best position that they can be. And they're very active. They have a lot of energy. They're a bunch of, like, junkyard dogs, as our coach would say. And they're second chance. You know, they're all over the offensive glass, and they're just a very tough team.
You know, let's keeping ahead to Saturday. Have you gotten a chance to look at Houston first, and then also how do you guys plan on taking advantage of using your home court to your advantage, having a top 10 team here?
Yeah, we got to take a look at them today. Watching scouting and watching film, watching some of their things that they like to do offensively and defensively. But, you know, it is our home court advantage. You know, being a senior guard, a senior leader, I kind of know what to expect. So, you know, I can give that feedback to my teammates. And we just have to match their physicality and play defense.
You guys coming off a big road win, got some momentum going. You got a top 10 team coming in. How thirsty are you guys for a signature win and really put a stamp on this season?
We're super hungry for this, but we're not going to try to put Houston on a higher pedestal than anyone else. They're a basketball team, Big 12 team, just like any other Big 12 team. So we have to go on to compete at a high level and be a very physical team. And, whoever's the type of team will come out to win.
A lot can be made about the offensive performance last game. You had a really nice defensive play, kind of that pesty little forced turnover. What goes through your mind on defense, and do you like that type of label?
Yeah, I pride myself in defense, being a smaller guard and, giving myself a chance to be able to compete at the next level. I know I'm going to have to be a good defender, on ball and off the ball, being able to fight through screens, get deflections, get my hands on balls, to get steals and stuff like that. But, I was kind of upset at myself because I missed the 2 free throws, so I was like, I got to get this back to make myself feel better. So, I got a little bit of an energy boost right there, so.
In those last 5 minutes, you went, you drove the paint a lot, in those one-on-one matchups. Is that just kind of matchup dependent, or is that something that you decided it was time for you to take over, or was it a need with Keyshawn in that foul trouble situation?
I'm just trying to give my teammates, a great look. I know a lot of people are going to be focused on me with the scout and stuff like that. So, if I can get in the paint and cause the defense to collapse, either I'm going to have a play for myself or a play for my teammates. As you saw earlier on, I was able to get into the paint. I found JJ open for a 3. And then I was able to use my pump fake and get around guys and make shots.
Darius, how do you guys balance? You mentioned this earlier about physicality. How do you balance being physical, down low especially, but also try to avoid getting into foul trouble, trying to avoid putting yourself maybe behind the 8 ball, so to speak, when it comes to that?
Well, it starts off with, doing your work early, trying not to let them catch it inside. That's something we've been preaching a lot recently. So I feel like it starts there, and then, also we just got to be disciplined. We got to be physical a little bit, but play our defense without fouling.
Darius, UCF has a space game tradition. It started in football. Now it's basketball is part of it. I think you might have played in all of them. Mm-hmm. Basketball-wise, got a special jersey. How excited are you for the space game, and how do you like those threads?
I'm super excited. I was hoping, at least one of these years I got some all blue threads. I was hoping, but, hey, I'm not the guy up top, so I'm excited.
As being a leader of this team, what did you like that you saw the team rally around, especially not having Jalen Sellers and Mustafa Chiam on the court?
Next man up. Our coach always tells us strength is in our numbers, and we had a lot of guys step up and make plays. JJ was one of those guys that night, and Mikey was one of those guys at Arizona. Unfortunately, we came up short, but these young guys, they're starting to figure it out. Day by day, game by game. So they're starting to figure out that everyone's going to be needed, and when their name is called, to be ready.
Following the Kansas game, Coach Dawkins said that you guys pride yourself on defense and rebounding and that you hadn't done that. But then you go to Arizona and you out-rebound them on the offensive boards 20-10, and you played some really good full-court press down the last 6 minutes of the game and didn't allow a field goal. How would you evaluate your performance recently, and do you feel like you're getting better in those areas?
I feel like the rebounding aspect, we've definitely done a better job. But defensively, as far as getting stops, I don't think we've done a great job. Like you said, they didn't score any field goals in the last 6 minutes, but it goes back to what he talked about with our defense and fouling. We put them at the line way too many times, which caused us to not be able to regain the lead.
Coach talks about how you guys are a very new unit a lot. How did the staying in Arizona together, for an extended period of time, help you guys really bond together, come closer as a team?
It was great. We were pretty much around each other all day, through shoot-around, pregame meals. But, this team it's been a pretty close team. We have a different group of guys, a lot of different attitudes, a lot of different characters. But we gel well together. Even on and off the court, we still, are like brothers. We consider us a brotherhood.
Darius, when Keyshawn starts going off and he's just scoring like crazy, what's going through your mind? And are you kind of disappointed he had that foul trouble? Were you kind of curious how high his point total could have gotten?
Yeah, I'm definitely a little worried about how many points he could have got. He probably could have got 50. He was definitely on pace to get 50, but I knew they were going to try to make it tough for him. He scored 29 points in the first half. I knew they were going to try to throw some doubles at him, throw some extra help. But, with Keyshawn, I knew he was going to make the right play. I feel like he's gotten better in that area a lot as the year has gone on. But, yeah, I've never seen 40 in real life, I don't think. Well, no, one other time I've seen 40 in real life.
And you mentioned that the defensive side of the ball needs to improve. Where do you guys need to see that improvement? Where can it improve?
I feel like it starts with each individual matchup, just taking pride in your individual matchup, making sure you contain your matchup because – as long as you're containing your personal matchup, then other guys don't have to help. Once you start putting guys in rotation, people have to rotate on different sides of the floor. That's where your defense can get a little stagnant.
Thanks. JJ, let's kind of reflect on the other night going to Arizona State. Obviously, it was a huge game for you. Career highs pretty much in every category. You knew you had to step up, especially with Mustafa not playing. So you knew, all eyes were going to be on you, so to speak. So how did you feel, completing that game?
I felt like we went in prepared. I was pretty much just ready to, staying ready. So I had to get ready. That was pretty much me, just ready for the play.
Talk about the second half. Late in the second half of that game, UCF was on a scoring drought, and then you come in and hit back-to-back threes to keep the team afloat in that game. What was going through your mind?
I got to knock it down. In the moment, I had to just make something happen, knock down the shot. That's what was going on through my mind.
What did that do for your confidence? How did you feel after those two big plays?
Go back to me, green. That's how I was feeling.
Second half, Keyshawn obviously goes out with the 4 fouls, sits for 8 minutes of game time. Kind of just going back to that mindset, how important was it for you to help elevate your team when your leading scorer was on the bench?
It was very important. Without that, we probably would have lost it. But I know we had to stay together the whole way in order to get to a dub.
JJ, it seemed like you're when you're on the floor, you're pretty much attacking the basket and attacking the rim at every opportunity. Is that your mentality when you're out there? What's kind of going through your mind when you get the ball and when you want to get an opportunity to score?
Yeah, really just attacking the playmate. Yeah, I know I'm hard to guard, so why not?
After those couple of threes, it looked like you and some folks on the Arizona State sidelines might like the fans. It looked like there was some chirping back and forth. What was said, and did that give you a little extra motivation?
Oh yeah, for sure. You just get in your head sometimes. You hear something, then you score, and then it's like you're going back and forth with the fan. But yeah, I just use it as fuel.
JJ, going into Saturday, how do you personally plan to carry that momentum into a going against a top 10 team?
What was that?
How do you plan on taking your momentum going into Saturday against a top 10 team?
Staying ready.
So obviously, you're playing a lot. Mikey Williams is now healthy, and he's on the court making big contributions. I know you guys grew up together, friends. So what's it like, playing college basketball together finally?
It's really unbelievable. Like it's almost like a dream, but it's reality. So I'm just happy, grateful.
So you're from San Diego.
No, I'm from Chicago.
You're from Chicago, but you played. Yeah. I guess Maggie's more the San Diego guy. But was there maybe a little bit more family representation? Phoenix is only like 5 hours from Southern California for Mikey and those guys.
Yeah, we had people come down and watch. It was cool.
You had one huge play, the Euro step. I think the announcer called you Gumby. What do you accredit your body control kind of to be able to contort to get past defenders?
My coach always say you got to play like a cat. I've been trying to play like a cat lately. I still end up falling at the end. Like, you know how a cat always fall and he got to land on his feet? He always lands on his feet. That's what I try to do, but I ended up falling. But yeah, it's just I'm trying to do that more, basically.
Aside from the Euro step, you also had that fast break transition where you had that big slam. How good do you think that was for the team's energy, especially trying to fend off the opposing crowd and all the noise in the arena?
It was a great way to end the half. Yeah, that's just like an energy play, like you said. Those plays I needed.
With around 140 left in the game, it's a very close game. You got a huge block that eventually led into a defensive stop. What did that mean to you and to get that stop defensively?
Energy plays, man. You need those type of plays to win. We trying to win. I'm just competing out there.
How much do you pride yourself defensively on the court?
Before this, I haven't really played defense until I got here. I'm not even but defense is the thing here. You got to play defense. That's all I know.
JJ, how are you improving as a player this year now that you're playing a big role? Obviously, you're getting older, more mature, more experienced, playing high-level competition. How are you getting better?
I think I've been getting better on and off the court. I've been through a lot, so it's like I had to take a step back, evaluate everything, and step back in, and I'm just growing.
obviously a big performance at Arizona State. How eager are you going to be to continue to prove you can play like that against these upcoming Big 12 opponents?
Very eager. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I'm ready to hunt.
To bounce off of that question, how have you seen yourself grow personality-wise, and with the brothers on your team, you guys going through all these games together?
Wait, what was that again? Say it again.
Like, how have you grown personally, like personality-wise? How have you grown like out your shell, like playing with your brothers and going through all these games together?
We've been growing. It's really not really a problem as far as like getting to know everybody and being around everybody. I mean, we pretty much be around each other every day, so it's like it's really none, but it's a lot of growth.
You guys obviously have several more road trips coming up before season's end. With an extended road trip like that out to Arizona, do you guys feel like you're getting more comfortable in those environments that will lend to further success?
Oh yeah, we're for sure we're ready for those type of environments. It's really nothing to us. Ready for a fight.
Being from Chicago, I mean, you grew up in that D Rose era. I know he's recently retired, and they're going to retire his jersey. What do you think about that?
Legendary. That's all I know. That's some legendary. I want to be like. That's something I want to do.
Who was your favorite player growing up in Chicago?
I'm gonna say D Rose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, different position, but did you kind of model your game after just his habits, or was there a player you modeled yourself after?
I steal a couple moves here and there.
It's a space game for UCF. You've heard a little bit about it, I guess. I know it's your first year here. Have you seen the jerseys, and kind of what do you think about the whole concept?
They cool. I like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
All set?
Thanks,